It is such a pleasure to be sharing my State of the Association remarks with you live and in person this year. As I thought about NCPDP's accomplishments and the exciting goals and opportunities that lie ahead, one of my favorite quotes came to mind. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The pandemic forced us to change the way that we look at things, and opportunities have definitely come as a result of that. We have successfully collaborated virtually to accomplish important work on standards development and enhancements, industry guidance, and strategic goals. We have channeled our experiences with change and uncertainty into an even deeper resolve to connect healthcare providers and patients with data for better informed healthcare decision-making and access to care. We must continue to change the way we look at things, to see new possibilities, to create standard solutions that enable pharmacists to collaborate in ways with all other healthcare providers to improve the patient experience and health outcomes. This will require us to be bold and break barriers. We have some very aggressive goals. We have people and processes committed to achieving them. And at the midway point in our 3-year strategic plan, soon to become a longer range plan, we are making great progress. Here are some highlights of what we have accomplished. A hallmark of NCPDP's leadership in standard solutions is our standards-based national facilitator model. The model was conceived originally as a national solution for reporting, tracking, and accessing real-time data on opioid prescriptions at the point of prescribing and dispensing to help curb the opioid crisis. When the pandemic revealed an outdated healthcare data infrastructure, NCPDP saw that our standards-based facilitator model can be used to address public health crisis beyond the opioid epidemic. It can provide pharmacists and prescribers with real-time prescription, testing, and immunization data at the point of care to support patient health interventions. This is a sorely needed capability that just does not exist today. Last August, NCPDP announced a strategic alliance with STC Health to operationalize NCPDP's national facilitator model. The collaboration leverages NCPDP script and telecommunication standards and the STC vaccine intelligence and its scalability solutions. We have been working together for the past 8 months to refine the technology and enlist the partners necessary to launch a demonstration project of the facilitator model. The team has developed an updated graphic of the facilitator model that shows STC Health as a national facilitator, a national facilitator registry powered by STC Health, use of the NCPDP telecommunication and script standards, and the role of the UPI, powered by Experian Health and NCPDP standards. We are making best effort to launch the demonstration project by 3rd quarter. We are negotiating with independent pharmacies to participate as well as switching companies and Experian Health. This Phase 1 demonstration project will focus on reporting, monitoring, and accessing COVID vaccination information nationwide. We anticipate results from the project by the end of 2022. As you can see, the UPI, powered by Experian Health, UIM, and NCPDP standards, is an integral component of the facilitator model. It provides assurance that vaccination information is tied to the right individual. NCPDP has been a leader in patient identification, offering a universal identifier that can be exchanged by disparate entities across the healthcare ecosystem. In any care delivery model, particularly with new collaborations and value-based arrangements and precision medicine initiatives, accurate patient identification, and the integrity of the patient record shared with other providers is paramount. Speed to standards creation is a top priority for NCPDP. Most notably, we have made significant progress this year modernizing the telecommunications standard to expedite updates and easy access to data via APIs. With the grant from the NCPDP Foundation, Point of Care Partners has been supporting our Telecom Agility Next Generation Task Group with the migration to JSON. I am pleased to report that the model has been documented, including structure reference and usage guidance. It reflects all telecommunication data elements plus the message-specific population details for claim, predetermination, reversal, rebill, and eligibility transaction types and variations. Work is underway now to complete the update to a new JSON format by converting the prior authorization and information regarding messages in the telecom standard. NCPDP has recently approved a general guideline to help shorten the internal timeframe for review of guidance documents, best practices, and white papers. We are actively looking for other opportunities to streamline our internal standards development processes, and we hope to collaborate with regulatory agencies to identify ways to shorten our processes that impact the implementation of standards. Research and discovery have been key to advancing our goal to provide standard support for value-based arrangements, also known as VBAs. We focused on learning as much as possible about the use of VBAs in the industry, pharmacy participation in those arrangements, data requirements, quality measures, information gaps, and other challenges. We conducted interviews with industry experts who have been successful deploying VBAs. We held an Accelerator roundtable on VBA, a stakeholder action group, an educational webinar, and focused the 10-hour 2021 Educational Summit exclusively on VBA. The role of the pharmacist was integral to the discussions. As medication experts, pharmacists are the best qualified to monitor medication therapy, ensure appropriate medication use, evaluate for interventions, collect and report SDOH data, and participate in outcomes and reporting and incentives. It will be imperative to look at the total cost of care and where pharmacists can integrate and be compensated in a framework where services are not tied to a transaction. Improved alignment between medical and pharmacy will definitely be necessary. Armed with greater knowledge of important data needs and quality measures, NCPDP conducted an analysis of our telecom and script standards to identify where existing transactions could support VBA. We looked for data elements useful to collaboration and clinical interventions by pharmacists and other providers who could be part of a value-based contract. What we found was surprising and encouraging. This initial analysis showed 62% of the data elements we identified as useful for VBA are included in the script standard version 2017-071. 42% are included in the telecom standard version D.0. We are collecting this data already in some fashion. Now, how do we repurpose it to support pharmacists' participation in VBA? Another stakeholder action group will be held later this year to chart next steps to answer that question and potentially propose new data elements and transactions to our standards. In a similar way, we are exploring the role that NCPDP can play in standardizing the exchange of precision medicine information to improve health outcomes. While precision medicine may seem far off, the paradigm is beginning to shift from traditional and stratified medicine to precision medicine. We need to be acting now to address data access and interoperability requirements, particularly as it relates to the critical role of pharmacists in helping patients to get more effective, personalized medication therapies. We have just completed an environmental scan with a focus on pharmacogenomics. Interviews with subject matter experts yielded market needs and direction for a stakeholder action group this year to establish NCPDP strategy for precision medicine. Among other things, we learned that a point of prescribing alert is needed to inform prescribers of pharmacogenomics related information when relevant. And genetic test results need to be standardized and codified in prescriber systems and then passed on to the payer and/or the pharmacy. Although drug-gene interaction checks are not yet prevalent in the pharmacy industry, we know that pharmacists are well positioned to become the primary facilitator. NCPDP has developed 6 use cases already. Work Group 10 presented a DERF just this week for a new reject codes to be added to the telecom standard to support medication changes recommended as a result of pharmacogenomic testing. In further support of our goal, the NCPDP Foundation recently awarded a grant to Exact Labs to demonstrate the value of integrating genetic data from pharmacogenomic testing into pharmacy benefit management systems to optimize medication management. Multiple NCPDP standards will be integral to the process. Another of NCPDP's priorities is to continue to evaluate emerging technologies and trends to identify new standards that support the healthcare ecosystem. To that end, we initiated a Farm Technology Innovation Accelerator in 2020 to seek and support innovation for the purpose of helping NCPDP innovate and continue to always remain relevant. Our PTI Accelerator is comprised of professionals who are developing, have development, or have knowledge of disruptive technologies on the horizon and their potential impact on pharmacy. These innovators and entrepreneurs not only help us learn more about emerging technologies, but also function as a think tank to explore how NCPDP can provide standards that enable scalability and interoperability. In the past year, the PTI Accelerator has gained considerable momentum. The group hosted 2 robust roundtables, one on VBA and the most recent one on interoperability and harmonization between healthcare entities using both HL7 FHIR and NCPDP standards. The recent discussion included clinicians and others from across the healthcare ecosystem, and additional roundtables will be planned as needed. The advisory committee for the group established a strategy and an action plan for monitoring the competitive landscape of innovation, engaging participants for roundtable or Shark Tank conversations, and providing a framework for providers to define issues needing innovative solutions. We have also made great progress on our goal to expand collaboration and alignment of interest with industry associations and other SDOs. Increased collaboration between NCPDP and HL7 has been and will continue to be a priority. We have a subcommittee solely focused on how NCPDP standards can be used with FHIR standards, how they are different, and how they can complement one another. The subcommittee is also examining how to promote harmonization of code sets and will define strategic use cases of NCPDP efforts that can be influenced by using FHIR. As I just mentioned, our PTI Accelerator Advisory Committee hosted a roundtable with innovators representing both medical and pharmacy to stimulate conversation ideas around interoperability and harmonization. Several important standards collaborations between NCPDP and HL7 took place recently. The Specialty Pharmacy Enrollment Standard, developed by both organizations, will increase the speed with which patients can receive critical therapies to manage the progression of serious health conditions. NCPDP and HL7 also co-authored a white paper on a standardized medication profile for clinicians, patients, and caregivers to use for exchanging essential medication information while transitioning between acute and post-acute care. Also, in the interest of expanding collaboration, NCPDP has executed multiple new MOUs with industry organizations. Additionally, we visited with 10 leadership of 10 industry organizations this past year to share strategic initiatives and to identify areas of alignment and future collaboration. Our collaboration and alignment with the NCPDP Foundation is stronger than ever. The Foundation is focusing exclusively on supporting research projects and pilots that prove the value of NCPDP standards. In 2021, John Hill, NCPDP Executive Vice President and General Manager, also assumed the role of Executive Director of the Foundation. As with other organizations with sister foundations, the dual leadership strengthens our alignment. Here, with an exciting update on NCPDP's Foundation's fundraising and grant-making achievements, is the Chair of the Foundation Board of Trustees, Mike Bukoch. Thank you, Mike. Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Leanne. I'm happy to report that the NCPDP Foundation has realized several successes as we move toward a new normal and hopefully put the pandemic behind us. Myself, the NCPDP Foundation Board of Trustees, and Foundation staff are committed to increasing the Foundation's long-term ability to fund research projects that demonstrate the value of NCPDP standards. Last year, the Foundation was able to find $217,000 in grant projects that benefit one or more of our three major strategic initiatives. These initiatives are expanding the role and value of the pharmacist, increasing patients' access to quality health care, and enhancing patient safety. This year, we are well on our way to granting over $500,000 in grant projects, the most we have ever granted in a single year. So thank you to our grant recipients, past, present, and future, for supporting the important work NCPDP members do to develop standards that drive the use of standard-based information technology for better healthcare. Last year's grant funding included, first, a $77,000 grant to point-of-care partners proved the value of using the formulary and benefit standard in conjunction with the real-time pharmacy benefit standard. These results will be published in the Journal of the American Medical Informatics Association by the end of this month, and will also be available on our website. Secondly, a $100,000 grant was awarded to the University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Pharmacy. This project will demonstrate the value of physician-pharmacist collaboration using the Pharmacist eCare plan. We expect to be able to share results in early 2023. Thirdly, $165,000 in two grants was awarded to point-of-care partners to help migrate NCPDP telecom standard transactions in EDI to the JSON format. Final results for this will be published later this year. This year's grant funding to date includes, first, a $157,000 grant was awarded to Exact Laboratories to demonstrate the value of leveraging patient genetic data to optimize medication management. This would mitigate prescription waste, reduce ER visits, and decrease adverse drug effects. Secondly, a $60,000 grant was awarded to the University of Arizona R. Ken Coit College of Pharmacy. The project will demonstrate the clinical value of sharing patient diagnosis with the pharmacist. This grant was made possible by the funding from the Mary and Charles D. Polito Endowment Fund. In an effort to increase funding for grant projects that align with our strategic initiatives, the Foundation is committed to having 3 standard grant funding cycles per calendar year. We recently closed out our first cycle of the year and are excited to share announced projects selected for funding. We will be releasing additional calls for proposals this summer and fall. The Foundation recently announced FDB as its inaugural Founders Gift donor, and that Robert Cater, FDB President, will serve as Patient Safety Chair of the Foundation's newly established National Advisory Council. We're very grateful for FDB and Bob's commitment. Their $100,000 donation will support the demonstration and measure of existing or future NCPDP standards and advance patient safety research projects. The Foundation also announced SureScripts as its Founders Gift donor for role and value of the pharmacist. Melanie Marcus, SureScripts Chief Marketing Officer, will serve as role and value of the pharmacist chair, with support from senior pharmacists and pharmacy experts at SureScripts, NCPA, and NACDS. A very special thank you to SureScripts and Melanie's for their commitment. SureScripts' $100,000 donation will provide a needed support to demonstrate the value of the pharmacist through NCPDP standards. The Foundation has also received a generous donation of $100,000 from GoodRx and announced that GoodRx is the Founders Gift donor for Access to Care. Franny McGowan, Scripps Cycle's Chief Executive Officer, will serve as the Access to Care Chair. We thank GoodRx for its support. All 3 Founders Gift donors increase our opportunity to fund research projects that demonstrate the value of NCPDP standards. In closing, I would like to provide a special thanks to all of our donors. Your commitment to the NCPDP Foundation is greatly appreciated. I hope to see you this evening during the Old World versus New World tasting event from 5:30 to 7 p.m. in the Rainmakers Ballroom downstairs. If you haven't registered yet, there are QR codes on your table and information in your conference bag so you can conveniently register for this event. So, thank you, everybody. There you go.
Thank you, Mike. The foundation was a dream of mine for many years, and it's really, really inspiring to see the maturity and the momentum that has been achieved. Before I wrap up, I want to encourage you to take a look at our 2021 annual report for more updates on our strategic plan, advocacy, and the database products that generate more than 70% of our revenue. The report also captures highlights on the important work that takes place in our quarterly work groups and the task group calls. In 2021, this represents more than 30,000 volunteer hours, the time invested in 4 quarterly work group meetings and 875 task group calls produced 31 documents. This includes white papers, comments, letters, and other materials. Plus, we adjudicated 85 DERFs. How we move forward is the theme of the annual report, and it reflects the message I want to leave with you today. We can be extremely proud of what we have accomplished over the past year. That said, we still have so much more to do and create a more connected healthcare system to provide coordinated, personalized, and timely care that leverages the newest technology and to help ensure better health outcomes for all of us. You make a difference in what we achieve collectively in the immediate future and beyond. Where you can, commit broader and deeper engagement. Bring your colleagues and business contacts to engage in our forum. It will benefit their own businesses as well as the common good. More than ever, we need all stakeholders to lean in, share your perspectives, and leverage your expertise to support the work of NCPDP as we lead the industry in standards and solutions for the common good. Thank you.